Polymerization of oil on metal, more commonly known as metal seasoning, is a process where a thin layer of oil is applied to the surface of a ferrous metal, usually cast iron, which is then baked in an oven at 250 degrees Celsius or more until the oil begins to polymerize on the surface until it forms a solid layer. Multiple layers are applied in order to make the metal corrosion resistant as well as non-stick. This process was commonly done to cast iron cookware before Teflon non-stick coatings were invented. However, I personally feel that the oil coating is much better than the Teflon, since it can be repaired by yourself, and I also feel that it is much safer to accidentally eat burnt oil than bits of Teflon. Here I have a fairly cheap pair of muffin baking trays, which have a really bad quality non-stick coating. Since the coating is already coming off, I thought that I might as well try this seasoning technique. The first step is to prepare the metal surfaces by removing all of the existing coating. I use a brass wire brush attached to a cordless drill, which greatly sped up the process, but you could achieve the same results with just normal steel wool. Ideally, you want to clean the entire tray, but since I was lazy, I just cleaned the area inside the cups. Next, make sure to wash the metal thoroughly in order to remove any remaining residue. Then begins the seasoning process. You have to apply an extremely thin layer of oil onto the metal surface. Bake it in the oven at 250 degrees Celsius or more for at least 1 hour, and then let it cool slowly for another hour before starting on the next layer. It is recommended that you should repeat this process at least 4 or 5 times to create 5 layers. However, this would take 10 hours to achieve, and the oven would be left on for 5 of those hours, which I felt was extremely wasteful. So I decided to do one thick layer instead of multiple thin layers. This was a big mistake. The thicker oil ran to the bottom of the cups and formed a kind of rubbery layer instead of a hard, durable layer. In addition, the uneven oil distribution makes this look like a scene from a horror movie. Nevertheless, I decided to test it out anyway. The non-stick ability seems to be about the same as the original cheap Teflon coating, and the rubbery texture of the oil means that it does scrape off much easier than it should. If I were to do this again, I would definitely choose the multiple layer approach, since that will ensure greater durability and performance.